guys, this is NA on Anything for Geeks, and today we are going to talk about a subject that is very well known but also very misunderstood. So here, this is a dinosaur. So do you know what this is? It is called a Spinosaurus. So the Spinosaurus, it has a sail and is the earliest known aquatic dinosaur ever known. So this is a dinosaur. But is this a dinosaur? This, could it be a dinosaur? Because it kind of looks like a Spinosaurus with the sail and the big teeth and all of that. This is an animal called Dimetrodon. Most of you viewers out there, you guys might be familiar with Dimetrodon, but most of you, or not most of you, but probably some of you at least, think that this is a dinosaur. And it's actually not a dinosaur. So Dimetrodon lived in the early Permian period, around 280 million years ago. And here are some reasons that it was not a dinosaur. First of all, it lived in the Permian period, and dinosaurs appeared 245 million years ago in the Middle Triassic period. So this is not a dinosaur because it's way too old to be a dinosaur. Then, its legs. The legs here, as you can see, the legs are splayed out and are flattened like a crocodile. But no dinosaur actually has that kind of leg. It's what separates them from other reptiles. Straight legs. Well, they're not really straight, but they're not splayed out. They stick for under the body. So right now the Dimetrodon is sticking its arms out wide. And the Dimetrodon's teeth is very, very interesting because it has different types of teeth in different places in its mouth. So it has huge canines and small incisors, kind of like people do. So, now we've established that it's not a dinosaur, and that kind of looks like one. But we mentioned that it had some very crocodile-like features, like the splayed out legs and the long tail. Well, I didn't mention that, but the long tail too. So, was it a crocodile or a lizard? No. Dimetrodon wasn't even a proper reptile. So here's why it's not a lizard. First of all, I mentioned the teeth earlier. So the teeth, they're different, but in lizards, they're all the same in every place. And we think that Dimetrodon may have had smooth skin, although this toy is kind of rough. But lizards are actually scaled, so that's another difference. And the skull. So what happens is, this is a feature that lizards share with crocodiles and dinosaurs, but they have two holes behind their eye, called temporal fenestrae. Well, the names don't really matter much, but they do have two holes, one above the other, behind their eyes and their skulls. And in dinosaurs, there's also one in front of the eye. But Dimetrodon only has one hole behind the eye, so it only has one temporal fenestra. So that's another big difference. So, what actually is Dimetrodon? Well, here's the big surprise. It's actually a mammal ancestor. So Dimetrodon belonged to a family called Synapsida, which means fused arch, and all synapsids have one temporal fenestra behind each eye. And synapsids include Dimetrodon, its close relative, although it's not, and prey, a Edaphosaurus. Don't confuse it with Dimetrodon, however. And us and your pet dog or cat are all included within Synapsida. That's actually a big deal, because that means that this guy, or at least the guy this toy has been based on, is probably mine or your great times a billion grandpa. And that's really funny because this guy looks nothing like you or me. I mean, come on, he doesn't even walk on two legs, he doesn't have hands, and humans don't have sails. And they don't have tails either. But somehow this guy, it somehow evolved to become me and you. Then that's really surprising. And about the teeth, Dimetrodon was a predator, and we think that it was fast for its time, even with those splayed legs. But Dimetrodon would have been similar to a crocodile in its lifestyle, but had some big differences that mammals don't have today. So I mentioned the teeth, and when I first mentioned them, I said that they were similar to human arrangement. That's because we inherited that arrangement from Dimetrodon. And Dimetrodon, although it laid eggs, it produced a form of pseudo milk. The first milk wasn't actually for feeding the baby, but for protecting the egg from bacterial infections. And that's because there's a protein in milk that's very similar to another protein that fights off bacteria, and we think that some error in this protein that fights off bacteria might have led to milk. So Dimetrodon is the cause that babies can still survive, mammal babies that is, and people can enjoy ice cream in the summer. So Dimetrodon's a very interesting mammal. And, well, it's not a mammal, but a synapsid. Synapsids are called mammal-like reptiles, but that's actually an obsolete term because now they're not even considered true reptiles. So, nope, this is not a mammal-like reptile, but rather a reptile-like mammal-like animal. That's basically a simple form of saying it. Well, actually, it's not that simple, but anyway. Then we have the Edaphosaurus. This is actually the prey of the Dimetrodon. So the Edaphosaurus on top, Dimetrodon below. But as you can see, these two toys look very similar. But Edaphosaurus would actually have a more circular sail rather than a ridge. And it would also have a smaller head compared to its body. So, yeah. Now, Dimetrodon also left some other traits behind. This is more behavioral than physical, but Dimetrodon also left behind a loving mom tradition, because We think that Dimetrodon looked after its eggs and built nests and guarded the nests like crocodiles do today. But that is only until the eggs hatched. After that, if you were too slow, you were lunch for mommy. Maybe that was a bit grim, but okay. So Dimetrodon looked after their eggs, and that still continues on with mammals looking after their babies. And Dimetrodon also first produced the form of milk-like substances. So we owe a lot to Dimetrodon actually. And Dimetrodon is a pretty cool synapsid. Now, Dimetrodon belongs to a family called Pelycosauria, which consists of the earlier synapsids. And Dimetrodon is the most famous synapsid of all. Non-mammalian synapsids, that is. And while many consider it a mammal-like reptile, although it's actually not a reptile, and some people may think that it's a dinosaur, but this video is about disproving that theory. One of the things that bugs me is that even toys are branded as Dimetrodon dinosaurs, and I had a set of dinosaur cards and they had Dimetrodon as a dinosaur. So, but it's really inaccurate because they're from different families. Dimetrodon's not even a proper reptile. So you can't expect it to be a dinosaur if it's not even a reptile. Then there's one really cool feature, and that is the sail. Now, the sail, although it might look sharp and pointy at first, isn't actually used for defense. Instead, we don't really know what it was used for. It may have been used to attract females by pumping blood into the skin and making it more red, thus more attractive. It may also have been used as a way to regulate body temperature using the sun's rays. And the sail might have been used to catch a lot of sunlight and transport it throughout the body, so keeping the animal warm. Because Dimetrodon was not warm-blooded, unlike later synapsids and mammals. All pelycosaurs were cold-blooded, like reptiles, so they had to find a way to heat themselves. And Dimetrodon was an apex predator, meaning that it was a big predator like today's lions. So it hunted a lot and it was pretty active. Now lizards today don't need these sails because they aren't very active. They mainly eat lizards. But Dimetrodon had to be able to chase down prey like the Edaphosaurus. So it needed a lot of energy and it needed to get it quick. So that's the most likely hypothesis why Dimetrodon might have had the sail. But we don't still really know about that because until we can just go back in time 280 million years ago and observe a Dimetrodon in real life, we'll never know because fossil evidence just doesn't leave that much evidence to kind of figure out these things. So that's a shame, but hey, at least we know enough to be able to create a toy. We are really lucky to have a lot of Dimetrodon specimens, and like there's a lot of different species, and they're really big and they're really small. So there's a big difference in size ranges between Dimetrodon species. So this toy is actually a bit inaccurate because the teeth are all the same. I don't know if you can notice it on the camera, but the teeth are all the same. But Dimetrodon's teeth, there have been long fangs in one place and the rest of the mouth held small incisors to slice and dice prey. Like this poor Dilophosaurus is getting attacked by the Dimetrodon. Ooh, ooh. So Dimetrodon and the Dilophosaurus are really cool creatures. But next week, we are going to talk about an even cooler creature, which is the first known aquatic dinosaur ever. So, our buddy the Spinosaurus will return for next time. See you then. So, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Check out my channel, Anything for Geeks. I post a lot of cool videos about different stuff there. And yeah, stay tuned for this next episode, because you don't want to miss a swimming dinosaur. Bye!